Welcome to DJNTV and Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Now introducing the one and only Ben Stowe.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Once again, we're back for another episode of Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. This is the one. If you've been wondering, in all the years you've been doing this, like 10 years, which one is going to be able to answer and change your life? That's probably not this one. Maybe the next one. And could be this one.
I don't know, John. We've done like 400 episodes. I don't know if we've changed anybody's life yet, but we've been educational, if not slightly.
Exactly. That's what we're after. We're after slightly. Whatever we're doing, we just want it to be slight.
I don't know why that popped in my head when you said that, but Chris Washburn, I love Chris Washburn.
Yes.
You know Chris Washburn?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
He said something at Harvest of Sound this year. He said, Ben was really funny. He's like, is Ben always this funny? I'm like, what do you mean? I think I'm hilarious.
Well, exactly. I mean, you're the funniest Ben I know.
Yeah. Well, how many Bens do you know?
And so anyway, tonight, speaking of fun,
wait till you hear my joke for today.
That's where we're headed to for our first segment tonight, because we're doing multi-segments throughout the night. And the first segment is Ben's Joke of the Week. And here we go. All right, Ben, what do you got for us tonight?
All right.
Oh,
this is the season.
A visual.
Yeah, that's right. This joke has a visual.
Our
last show before Christmas and all that, right? So what does a DJ play at? And this is, by the way, thanks to my friend Olin Taylor for this joke.
Okay.
Which also, by the way, if it bombs, it's totally Olin's fault.
It's Olin's fault. Yeah. If it's good, it was.
But
yeah.
I thought it was good enough that I actually got a visual. What does a DJ play at a holiday party? Gingerbread house.
Gingerbread house.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's actually that was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't Wikipedia.
Your Wikipedia.
Yeah. But gingerbread house. Yeah.
Playing gingerbread
house. Yeah, that works.
Is that how you say that? Is it gingerbread
house? Yeah, you're probably holding a vowel longer than we do in the Upper Midwest, because
Minnesota.
Yeah, we just don't do things that way.
Don't you know? I just spent 2 weeks in Nashville and then a week before that in Boston. So I'm like wicked pissed at y'all. Like, I don't know.
You're all messed up.
I go in for surgery tomorrow and they're probably going to think that it's the anesthesia drugs or something. Like, no, that's just the weird accent I have now after like 2 months on the road, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Nashville, Boston. They're like, he's stoned out of his mind.
Yeah.
No, it's
just the convoluted dialect that I picked up after being in 6 spots in 5. Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's jump to our first question tonight.
All right.
All right, Ben, our first question tonight is coming from a DJ was asking about a good way to be able to capture really good audio when it comes to doing these little testimonial videos that we shoot at the end of our events. You've got some folks who are like, hey, I want to, to be able to capture audio even towards the latter part when there's still music going, having something that would give you that and that will hook up to our cell phone. And I think you guys have had some things over the years, and this would be a great time to kind of enlighten us on what's out there.
Yeah, there's a few that kind of come to mind, and there's been a lot of things that have evolved, particularly since COVID and everybody started live streaming, whatnot, that the technology is continuing to march. And I'm just going to highlight a couple, but I think that particularly in excuse me, 'tis the season for the cough. Anyway, particularly in loud environments, the closer we can get our mic to the source, the better, the more we can, direct mic something. So the examples that I've got here, I'm going to just go ahead and do a screen share real quick, are a couple of the offerings from like Shure has their new Move mic. These will pair directly to your phone, and you can use these basically as little clip-on lavalier mics. Some of these apps have some good algorithms and things like that, but you could also export these, and there are also good audio editing programs that you could use to clean up the audio later as well. So there's some fun things you can do there. And then, excuse me, this is the Sennheiser model, And you can see there's a little receiver that clips onto your iPhone there, or Android or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, kind of a little multi-purpose housing, if you will. It does some charging and whatnot, but similar concept, that these are just very small little clip-on lavs where they are the transmitter and the lav themselves, and it will broadcast that to your phone. And a lot of these also work with like DSLRs or things like that too, if you're not just using a phone. But anyway, that's kind of I think this is probably what I would use. There's other options available. Hollyland has a few different options too, and all kinds of fun ways we could go about this.
Mm-hmm. So Sennheiser, looking at that, so as we looked at the bottom there, it had, of course, battery level indicators, and it had a volume or a signal or sound little
Yeah, exactly.
so you can
If you
monitor
can
it.
see that at the bottom there, that yeah, you've got a little display kind of showing you what's going on. We got some signal strength indicators, and as you mentioned, that being radio signal, and then of course, volume or audio level indicators, and then battery. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it's kind of
Great.
nice. I like that.
Yeah, definitely a great little tool that'll allow you to be able to do things and know, especially batteries. That could be such a problem. Unfortunately, we've all been there, and we've all done that where we thought our microphone battery was good.
Yeah. Now, by no means are these the end all, save all, the only thing. We've got. I think we've got. Gosh, I can't even tell you how many different interfaces you could use. Regular mics, things that There's also camera-mounted shotgun mics. I think it, as I so fond of saying, it depends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, lots and lots of options.
And many people on your staff have utilized or have worked with those solutions. So it's really something, if a person's looking for it, that having that conversation to say, hey, this is what I kind of want to do. This is the type of environment I'm going to be working within. What are some of the better options?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is just reach out, have that conversation, and we'll share our experience, and hopefully, it matches up well for your results. But you don't have to do this in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Excellent. Let's jump to our photo of the week. Here we go. All right, Ben, what do you have for us this week for a photo?
Well, it's actually going to be relational to you know what, I just changed it. I'm changing my photo of the
Holy
week.
cats! You were just about, and then you zigged or you zagged instead of zigged.
Calling it audible. Yep, I'm calling it audible.
Mm.
I was gonna use a different photo for one of the other questions we're gonna answer, but I thought, you know what, no, I'm gonna save that one for that time. So I have a different photo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. In case people thought we spend a lot of time.
We do. This is actually made to look like it's spontaneous, but it really wasn't. We planned this like months ago.
Yeah, this was all completely.
Yeah,
we totally planned this 100%.
yeah.
So
During our summer meetings when
we just planned to be completely disorganized.
exactly. Yeah, it makes it look more authentic.
Where is it? There it is. So here is my photo of the week now. Just because I think it's really fun to see lights and mirror balls that big. But anyway, the photo of the week is a mirror ball, which of course everybody's been familiar. If you have not seen a mirror ball effect, I don't know where you've been for the last literally like 60 years. But anyway, we will use this a little bit later when we talk about things like atmospheric effects, and I just wanted to kind of show that because it's more fun. I don't know. Gosh, I should. The other picture. Just stay tuned, folks. So.
And the thing is, you mentioned, that if you haven't seen a mirror ball, but you think about it, a lot of DJs who are 25 and under have probably never utilized one or used one in their show. Maybe even 30 and under haven't, because the last 10 years, the newer digital versions or LED versions of different effects that do similar have really come on.
That's a really good point, and I was just thinking as you said that, I don't see that many mirror balls out there in the DJ realm or in live shows, and maybe that's why it's still really impactful, but it's pretty cool. When mirror balls are used, I think it really gets people's attention because they're like, that's it's different, but it's not different,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
So, uh, gosh, the name of the act that used one a couple of years ago is just on the tip of my tongue. Um, had the song "Girl Crush." Anyway, gosh, I do so many shows, I just can't keep track of who this.
Was that Big Little Town?
Little Big Town,
Or
yeah,
Little Big Town? Yeah.
yeah, a little bit. And they used one with. I don't think I'm giving any away secrets at this point. Now that tour was the Painkiller tour. It was years ago, but anyway, to great effect.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll show you how that one, the one that you just saw, was used.
Excellent. Well, we'll jump to that. Get yourself ready, because up next is Ben's weekly TED Talk. And got the little piece in here. And all right, Ben, what do you have for us for words to live by?
You know, I feel like every week on the show, I end up saying something philosophical, and I suppose that's maybe off brand for what people think I should be saying, because obviously for the past 3 decades, I've made my name in this industry as a technician, as a guy who talks about techie things. But obviously, anytime we try to put somebody in just one box, we probably miss, the big picture. And certainly, I am a philosophical guide. So this time of year is a time when I think a lot of people get reflective and introspective. Holiday movies, some of the best ones that I think of are like "It's a Wonderful Life," one of my favorites for sure. Dickens' "A Christmas Carol." We start thinking about life, right?
Mm-hmm.
We start thinking about that. So I think that's my TED Talk for this week. Is we're not allowed to say TED Talk. My short talk. Anyway,
yes.
I don't know.
You.
Right. So thanks for coming to my talk.
Yeah.
Is basically that, regardless, I think, of where you land in the spectrum, for the holiday, whether you're a Christian and you're celebrating Christmas, or you're Jewish and you're celebrating Hanukkah, or there's whatever you're celebrating, or whether you're not religious but it's a time to be with family and to celebrate, whatever it is, it's the end of the year. We start looking back at the year, and then as the years pile up, we start looking back, multiple years, right? We start looking back at our lives. It's that time for me. It's always kind of reflective, and I think the push to meet expectations, to the gift buying, preparing for holiday gatherings. I feel like people are just really stressed out right now. That's just kind of what I see. I feel like a lot of people are just kind of like a rubber band stretched really tight.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about that in this reflective sense, and I think about "It's a Wonderful Life" and that sort of thing, I think what I really want for people is to be able to find peace, to find your joy, to be able to focus on the things that are more permanent, that matter, to be a little kinder to each other, to be kinder to ourselves, if I'm being honest, too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Cut others some slack and cut yourself some slack. And sometimes, most times, the world is simply, I'll wrap up here, but it's sometimes, I mean, most times the world is more what we make it than it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can look out at a fresh snowfall, and we can see the purity and the beauty of the glistening white snow in the moonlight, or we can just see a driveway that has to be shoveled, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yep.
And that's just perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm talking to myself as much as everybody else, but my hope for you is that you have a peaceful and joyful holiday season.
Yeah. Good stuff. I think that was a wish for everyone out there, for surely. Excellent.
Sincere wish.
Mm-hmm.
Sincerely wish that for you, John, for your family, for our viewers, whatever you're celebrating or not celebrating, just for some peace and joy.
Mm-hmm.
And give it to others too. Give it around. Let's honestly,
spread the magic.
Hopefully these rubber bands begin to loosen. We've just been bombarded with the election cycle, and so much of that is driven by negativity. So much of that is driven by fear. Those are the things that draw eyeballs to headlines. Those are the things that draw dollars to fundraisers. But it's really, it's destructive. You know, it really takes a toll on you. And I think that's a contributor to why people are so stressed out. So anyway, I guess again, just to, make my point again, be kind to yourself and be
For sure.
kind to others.
For sure. Let's jump to our final question of the night. And here we are. So Ben, our final question basically is revolving around atmospherics, as you were you mentioned earlier. It was about a lot of the barns that we're in these days can have foggers or hazers. They don't have the sniffer detectors that, and I'm sure maybe sometime they will get those. But as of right now, many of those type of facilities or tents can utilize some sort of atmospheric, whether it's haze or fog, and just looking to get some advice on what's going to be, some of the options that are out there and what's going to be the best bang. At one time I would have asked you the best bang for the buck, but now I'm to the point of what's going to be the best long-term bang.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes you need to spend the bucks.
Exactly. Yep. And this could be that. So I just want to throw it out there and let's talk a little bit about what's out there for folks who are getting into those or are doing those types of events and want to elevate their light shows and things with atmospherics.
Well, I think first I'm going to talk about the why. You just said elevate, and I think there's a couple of examples. I pulled a few pictures together. Let's see if I can grab these real quick for you. So these were some of the same tour. One is an outdoor show where fog and atmospherics just doesn't really work. And then the next is an indoor show. So you can just see.
I'm seeing just a white, so that must be a lot of fog.
Yeah, this is the snowstorm. No, I haven't got there yet. Just
okay, good. So I was just wondering, this might be, when you push the button a little bit too long, or this could be the view that you had that time we did that hazer thing, and that was bad. That was bad.
There's that too. All right, fine. Here's a picture. So
hey, there's something right there.
And you can see that outdoors there is a little bit of fog. We can see a little bit of the light beams, but it's really not effective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's also daytime. I mean, it's, the sun doesn't set till like 10 o'clock in Minnesota in the summer. But anyway, so same exact show, bring it indoors, slightly lower ceiling. But now we have the ability, of course, to put fog in the room, or we'll call it fog, but it's haze actually. And I'll get on that in a second here. And suddenly everything becomes much more three-dimensional, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole show. And of course, when you have movement and everything is, it just looks much more impressive because we're no longer just looking at a fixture where that light is on or off, but now, these moving heads with a gobo, they have the ability to do like these, kind of beams as opposed to something solid, and and you have a lot more dimension, and that light show is literally coming out and touching people. They feel like it's a bit more immersive, right? And the mirror ball that we saw in an earlier segment on this show. Bam!
That's right? Right there is, if you're wondering why, that is what any of us children of the 70s and 80s, that's what we remember. Yeah.
So it's it makes the light show three-dimensional. I mean, it's the only way I can really think about it. It's something that we've come to expect in concerts and performance venues. It's something that people associate with light shows. Now, of course, what you don't want is choking fog where everybody's hacking and coughing on it, and and it's setting off fire alarms and those sorts of things. But you don't have to have that. There's a lot of ways to do this inexpensively. Now, we'll just start with the two most common types of atmospheric fluid, and that is oil base and water base. Oil base used to be really like a big no-no. It's now predominantly what we use in large venues. But I think for DJs, I would still recommend water base for lots of reasons. Inexpensive, stores, long time, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But, anyway, there used to be this real concern about oil base and residue and that sort of thing. And with the high quality machines, but they do tend to cost more, you don't really have that issue. Particularly, if you're doing it, a little bit throughout a night. We'll run a hazer at a venue for, 6 hours or whatever, So here's a couple of, now you said best bang, not just best bang for the buck, but I think these are good bang for the buck options too. I think that how many bucks depends on a few things: how much you're going to use it, you know, how, you know, how much you know, really don't want to mess with it, right?
Hmm.
So these are some pretty low cost options that are still pretty solid. On the left, we can see this from the Chevy Hurricane series, and that is, you know, uses neither of these is a conventional hazer
Okay.
in the regard that they used to be with air compressors and that sort of thing. I would say that these are both part of what I would call a phaser family. The one on the right, you know, you can use regular fog fluid in, and it's gonna kind of squirt that out in front of the fan, and you know, it's gonna blow that into a nice thin haze. Some similar things kind of going on here, and water-based phasers are probably one of the easiest and least expensive ways for DJs to do this. These are just, you know, in the hundreds of dollars. They're very easy to clean and maintain, and you can control the amount of output, so we can get kind of a nice thin even haze as opposed to big billowing bursts of fog. Right, in
Sure.
both of these
Okay.
pictures you can see it doesn't, you know, we don't see clouds of fog, and
Hmm.
nobody's upset at all. Everybody's having a great time, you know. So I think that's now certainly if you're doing larger venues, or if you know, are doing things where you really need more output, or you need longer hang times. You know, the oil has a bit more of a sheen to it, and there's lots and lots of options. I mean, you know, you can buy phasers and hazers from hundreds of dollars up to, you know, 10, $15,000.
Mm.
So I think that too is kind of an individual discussion, but for the vast majority of our viewers, I think this is really the Goldilocks area. You don't want to get something real cheap. It's, you know, it's going to be problematic. It's not going to work good. You're going to end up hating it, replacing it, whatever, fighting with it, you know. But these are ones I think you can use occasionally. They're going to be pretty reliable and robust, easy to clean, and you can keep them in service for a long time.
Hmm. So you mentioned that you know, like the old hazers had that compressor, and it sounded like truly an air compressor. The old American DJ
Very
had,
noisy, yes, very
yeah, very
noisy.
noisy. They sound like you were pumping up your tire, your bike tire or something. Do they make those yet, or is that
They
compressor?
do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. I'm not a fan because I think there's so many better options
Mm.
now. And you know, even within the Antari family, they've got some really good units that are quiet. I think that, you know, just common sense has sort of prevailed over time. People are like, nobody wants to hear that, you
Yeah,
know.
they were loud, yes. And as they got older, they got louder. Ironically, they were fairly bulletproof. I mean, you could, if you the tire on the truck was flat, you could just, you know, drive it up on top of it, and they,
Yeah, mechanically they were solid. I mean,
yeah.
they were simple devices, and you know, but yeah. Anyway, and there's been a few variations, you know, the X310 and the F4 and other, you know, similar type devices that, you know, um, ADJ has their Entourage, which has been really good, and that's, I think, still under $1,000.
Hmm.
So there's several options. I think here again, you know, it would probably behoove our viewers to just reach out to one of us at NLFX, and or if for whatever reason that there's no explaining this, but if for whatever reason they shop somewhere else, whatever, you know, they could reach out to that person, and talk about, you know, the types of places you're going to use it. Is it the barn venue like we talked about, and
Hmm.
you know, what am I hoping for, you know, what's available for power, because some of these units use, you know, heaters and things that draw a good chunk of power. So if you have one circuit for the whole venue, this might not be for you. We might have to look at another option, right? You know, but
Hmm.
anyway, you can kind of guide to a solution that I think is going to give you the favorable outcome, and you can start having effects like that.
So let's look at that one. How many devices are being used to create the atmospheric
We have
haze?
two hazers. We have two hazers in use here, at fairly low output. Now, you know, we did start them fairly early. We just kind of let it slowly build in the billing, so you don't have that billowy
Hmm.
effect. You know, it's just we just kind of let it slowly build up in that venue, and we've got two of them that are, one stage left and one stage right, that are rocking here. Now this is an arena,
Hmm.
so
It's a
I mean
big
this is,
space.
yeah, yeah, and you've been in this arena, you know, and
Hmm.
so for a barn, I think you could very comfortably get by with one of those smaller ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Neat. Good stuff there, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can pull up the exact model that we used here.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that'd be
just
kind of neat to see if you could. Yeah, we got a couple of minutes. And then after this, for those of you with us tonight, DJNTV.com/chill. I should put that link in the chat. The Tuesday Night Music Show, they'll be doing a recording of the show after this. So you can go to, it's a Zoom room. You go out there and hang out with the crew and talk music and talk shop and have some fun.
So the ones in use in that picture are this machine right here. They are the Antari HZ1000s using an oil-based fluid. Anyway, but there's, they've got a whole bunch, even just, within Antari's family. Elation has some great ones. Chauvet has great ones.
Yeah.
There's tons and tons of good options out there. ADJ, again, with their Entourage line. So I think it's best to just discuss how much you're going to use it, how much you want to carry, how much you want to spend.
Yeah, help.
And we can kind of guide to a good solution for you.
Excellent. And of course, the link,
nice because it just buttons up into a road case and rolls on a truck and
off you go.
But it weighs.
Oh, hey, go. What's the wattage? What's it pulling for power? Up a little bit. Thought I saw a watt. Rated power.
Yeah, US 10 amps.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's actually fairly low power, but a tremendous amount of output. But you'll notice here that it weighs 165 pounds. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a beast there, but still, it's. I was expecting when you mentioned it, of course, that a lot of those would be 220 because of the, probably pulling 15 to 20 amps of power. But yeah, you're not pulling that at all. Interesting.
Yeah, and by comparison, I'll just go back to this link real quick. So by comparison, I mentioned like the F4, which has been discontinued now, and the X310, which is now called the F1. But the one that we looked at was the Z350. That was the one that was in my slide.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see here it's very small, it's very compact. We can see
700 watt.
700 watts.
So about a 6 amp rating or pull there.
Yep, 6 amps. So really not bad at all. And it only weighs 18 pounds.
Oh, geez, a nice compact.
Yeah. So again, just trying to think about what the right solution is for our target audience here for this show.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have a diverse audience, which I love. But that's where the discussion comes into play. Are you the guy that wants to haul the 165-pound one, or are you the guy that wants to haul the 18-pound one? And if you're doing arenas, it doesn't really matter what you want to haul. You're gonna have to haul. You got to
haul it. Yeah, the right tool for the job.
So yeah,
excellent. Thank you, Ben. Again, DJNTV.com/chill. Bounce out there after we're done tonight and hang out with the crew there. And then next week, of course, is the holiday, so we are going to be off next week with our Tuesday night show, and we will be picking things up after the holidays and answering more of your questions and looking at more pictures and more of Ben's joke book.
I got to get some more jokes. Thank you, Olin, for bailing me out on the holiday joke. But if anybody else has some jokes they could share with me, that'd be great. Because despite what Chris Washburn says, I'm not funny.
Well, his wife thinks he is, so there's that.
Well, my wife thinks I'm a different kind of funny,
And that's a good way for us to wrap up the last show of the year. Thank you guys for being with us. Have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll catch you in 2025. Good night, everybody.